It's the Anything Goes podcast, man. It's your boy Sean Peoples. Hey, people, listen, man. You like our vibes? You like the movement? Like, subscribe, share, comment in the comment section. Ring the notification bell so you can keep up with everything got going on. And if you don't ring the notification bell, you won't know when we get to 5,000, and you won't be able to join in to get the cash prizes. Plain and simple. Jump in the community tab and vote. Voting everything that you see going on up there, man, is just a better way for us to gauge what type of content to give to you. So help us help you by giving y'all better content. Yo, I'm here with T. I'm here with Mr. Razor. I'm here with Sharp, man. We're going to talk a little bit about Juneteenth today. You know, T, what's going on with you?
What's up? What's up? Chilling, enjoying.
Too much, ain't too much. Mr. Razor, what's going on with you?
Hey man, I'm chilling. I'm here. Another day, another day.
Sharp, man, what's good?
Yeah, man, living and loving life. Happy to be here with the crew.
Yeah, I know how it goes already, man. I want to talk to you guys about Juneteenth, man. Juneteenth, see that Senate just passed the bill to make Juneteenth a holiday. As the Democrats running the House. So, you know, we should see that a holiday, that bill should pass real easy over there in the House.
In the Senate, you think it's going to pass in the Senate?
Yeah, the Senate passed it already.
No, you mean the House passed it? You just said
the Senate
passed it too?
Yeah. Senate passed it already. The House passed it.
Well, them guys never do anything.
Yeah, finally.
We run it now.
There was somebody over there that actually wrote the bill. I can't remember her name, but she wrote the bill, and they passed it surprisingly. Last night when I saw it popped up on my phone, I was shocked. I was like, "What?" I was like, "This must be a hoax." So I had to go and check.
It might still be a hoax.
Yeah. With all that's going on.
What'd you say, Mr. Razor?
I said, with all that's going on right now, yeah, I'm surprised. I'm shocked.
Man, I'm shocked too. I've never been so shocked to them yet. You know, and it passed unanimously. They all pretty much voted. Everybody that was there vote. So if somebody wasn't there, which they haven't mentioned yet, that's the only reason it would still count unanimously if that person wasn't there and just decided they wasn't there, so they vote don't necessarily count. But everybody that was there voted and it passed. So that's a good thing. T, as the only born American here, when did you find out about Juneteenth?
Man, I found out, to be honest, I want to say probably about 5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Yeah, give or take a year or two. Probably about 5 years ago was the first time I ever heard anything about it. And it still amazes me that still to this day, there's still a lot of Black Americans who still have no idea of what it is. But it is the classic
gotta talk up some example. Real low.
I'm low. Okay, I'm sorry. But it's the classic example of why we have been systematically broken down here in America, you know what I mean? Because I have a lot of foreign friends, and they're like, how the hell do you not know what that is? You know what I mean? This is celebrating you. But I have to explain to them, for me to even learn part of my culture in high school, I had to use an elective to get African American history. And it still was a watered down version, but it's like, how do you tempt a kid? Would you like to, do wood shop or learn a trade, or would you like to sit in a history class? You know what I mean? When you already have world history as one of your subjects. So like, I'm one of those students who did opt to take it, but there's a lot of students who didn't, and I'm still dumb to the knowledge because that wasn't even in that class. I wasn't even taught that in that class. But it's actually misfortunate, but instead of me sitting back and worrying about all those years I didn't know, it's time for me to celebrate now that I do know. That's the misadvantage we have is when you do know and you have that knowledge and you still choose not to celebrate what it actually is. So
definitely send it off with the kids, let the kids learn about it. Ironically, today I got a message from my son's school saying that Friday was supposed to be the last day, but they're gonna Friday is no longer a day at school, and they're celebrating Juneteenth, and it brought a smile to my face. You know, we lose so much here. Something as petty as that make you feel so happy and in place that it's just kind of crazy. And the fact that we were freed about what 2 years before the general finally decided he was going to ride into Texas to let the slaves in Texas know that they were free. I mean, Sharp man, you've been here longer than me and Razor, so we're gonna pinpoint and pick you next. What do you feel about
what? What's up?
what do you feel about the Juneteenth holiday? What do you feel about Juneteenth in general? And when did you find out about Juneteenth?
Yeah, I known about Juneteenth for a long time. I used to live in California in the Bay Area, Oakland. So I learned about it back then, which is like mid '90s, right? And didn't know like necessarily the history back then, just that it was, when they claimed the slaves were freed at that point, and it was a celebration of Black freedom. But in doing some research, I realized that they would have you believe that they just signed a piece of paper and Black people were free, when in fact Blacks, Black Americans more specifically, was actually a part of the fight with the Union.
Yeah.
To actually, save the Union, to actually free slaves. So they fought for their own freedom, but they would have you believe that they sat around and waited to be free. Like they weren't a part of their own fight. Right. So I want to make that very clear in case somebody's watching, they don't know that they weren't just freed. They fought for that freedom.
Definitely.
Right. They actually fought for that freedom and was a part of that fight to save the Union. So without the Black militia, well, it was a Militia Act 1862 that actually allowed Blacks to actually fight.
Yeah. Well,
Lincoln wanted to do it, but he couldn't do it because there was some political wranglings going on back then. But anyway, when he's finally able to, he actually went ahead and did it. And
secretly, Blacks were fighting in the war secretly.
Right. They couldn't come out and say it. Yeah.
Couldn't publicly say it. They were doing guerrilla warfare. They was attacking the troops. Blacks were already, we were just, like you said, we just wasn't sitting there twiddling our fingers, waiting for master to be like, you know what? Yeah. It's time for you guys to go free, because this slavery thing is wrong.
So the celebration was well earned, right? And even there's some discrepancy with should it be Juneteenth or was it some other time that was actually the real date of freedom? But we're not going to go there. That's not what we're here for. I was just going to say we're celebrating Black freedom, which is a good thing. Now we have a national holiday for Black Americans to celebrate, and we as their Black brethren from another land, we're going to celebrate with them.
Well, I went to war for this country, so I'm an American. And I don't.
Well, yeah. I'm just speaking of the ones that were born here, that have the ancestors from here. But I mean, because truth be told, they have Juneteenth in Canada, Nigeria, Japan, and France. Truth be told, so I mean, it's not just in America that they celebrate Juneteenth. So just to be clear.
Yeah, but
it's just now being celebrated in America.
Exactly.
Well,
that's the sad part.
In all honesty, I knew about Juneteenth in around the 90s also. Like I said, Dr. Green, she at the time she was Professor Green. She taught me so much about Black history. I'm still amazed how much information this lady has. It's like she's a walking encyclopedia. She's like a walking Google. She knows so much about.
You're very fortunate and blessed, man, to know somebody like that. Seriously,
definitely. Razor, when did you find out about Juneteenth, and what do you feel about the holiday?
I would say at least 10 years ago, and I started to learn about it. It just ironically, like you said, I went to high school here, junior high school. Well, actually, I started in junior high school, about the 7th grade. And, throughout that time, I've never learned about Juneteenth. I didn't know anything about it. I learned more about the Holocaust and everything else more than I learned about, actual American history, which is Juneteenth. But like you said, just doing some of the research that I've done, we got to, like Sharpman said, we fought for that freedom, and that was actually one of the deadliest. It is the deadliest civil war that in American history. So we fought for that history. Just to think about the fact that we had to walk around with papers and we had to we didn't have that freedom to go to the store or to do anything. We had to show papers. We had to try to buy our freedom, and sometimes even when we buy our freedom, you still take it back. And it's just to give you some insight of some of the things that Black people had to deal with back then, and it was just a tragedy that what we had to go through, and even till this day we still see the remnants of how people think back then. There's still a progressive thinking of some people thoughts even till this day, when it comes to racism and things like that. So it's good for everybody to learn and understand the history, and for it to be celebrated like any other holiday, because it's definitely worth celebrating. And it's like I said, we in 2021, and it's just a shame that after all this time, it even though we are getting the holiday, or we're about to get the holiday, it's just a shame how far behind we are and not was able to do this 50, 100 years ago for it to be celebrated.
That's
and
a fact.
Yeah.
And I want to touch what Sharpman was saying. The reason why there's so much discrepancy is in the date. On June 19th, 1865, what his name? General Gordon Granger. Yeah, I said that right. General Gordon Granger rode in on his silver white horse to save the Negroes from slavery.
Yeah, good old general order number 3.
Yeah, which we were supposed to be free years before that. And that's why there's so much discrepancy in it. I remember Ms. Green telling me that there's so many different stories of how the actual freedom come and who actually rode in on the horse, because there's also a discrepancy on which general actually rode in on the horse. But anyway, for me, man, Juneteenth is a celebration type of thing, man. I think I won't say overlooked the past of stuff, but I've realized that everything we want here in America as Blacks, we have to fight for it, and we have to demand it. And I think this has been kept secret from Black Americans for so long. They couldn't fight for it because they didn't know. Because a lot of my friends, I'm telling a lot of my American friends about Juneteenth. They have no idea. Now, when they mention it to their parents, a couple of them hit me back and say, yeah, man, my mom said, yeah, there is Juneteenth. I'm like, well, you thought I was.
But mom didn't share it though, right?
Mom didn't know enough about it to share it with him. All she knew was that's when slaves were supposed to be freed. So that's all she can do. What you saying, T?
I would say that, you have to realize too, back then, education wasn't taught to Blacks. There were a few who knew how to read, a few who knew how to write. They tried to, but you would actually be killed if you were caught doing that. So with that being said, you have to realize there's a lot of history that was not documented and recorded the way it should have been from our aspect. All we had was the white man's version. And as we're seeing now, a lot of that was manipulated and put to a way to make us feel like we weren't important, like we didn't really build this country, and we're getting increments of it. The fact that it's just now, this is the 1800s that it happened, and it's just now becoming a national holiday. Yeah. And we have National Best Friends Day and National Siblings Day and
Whitewash
National history. Give Your Neighbor, like that right there shows you Day. That it's a constant disregard of us, and that's just why a lot of us have no idea, no knowledge of this kind of stuff, you know.
That you know that in a lot of southern states, a lot of the family do know about that in all actuality. And I think that because it's something like T said, miseducation of these things, because these the daughters of the Confederate, I advise some of y'all who don't know who that is to go look it up. They change how Black history were set out in America. Where you see all these Confederate statues around America, the daughters of the Confederate, they are single-handedly responsible for making almost every Confederate statue that around America sits and lie in communities that to remind you that this is the only country that celebrates the losers, that have a hard time telling you that we should get rid of the losers. But you know, learning about this, like I said, it's intriguing to me to realize how hard they tried to keep our past away from us. And they'll let you watch slave movies and think we was just there taking beatings and crying and say, "Oh, master, don't do this to us." But that's, in all actuality, that's not what was happening. There's a lot of documentation of us fighting back, of us conquering. There wasn't only one Nat Turner in America. So people, Nat Turner might have just been the one that made it make famous, but there wasn't just one Nat Turner. And of course, if you know how us as a people, knowing how we retaliate to stuff already, of course you know that there was more than one Nat Turner. But this is a time for us to celebrate. We're getting a holiday. We're getting to now be able to teach our kids more about history we're learning about. They destroyed a lot of books, but from what Miss Green tell me, there's a lot of books out there also that's been shipped overseas, that was in different countries that you can find on the internet evasively, especially like her. She has a catalog of Black history book that's written that she even have letters written from slaves that who learned how to write. So this is a woman that's been keeping record of our history. And like Sharpman said, it's a privilege because I'm making sure that I give her roses on this, because without her, I don't think I would be as interested as I am in the fight for Blacks as I am now, And when you think about what we go through as a people, that's why sometimes it bothers me when people don't understand why we react certain ways to how we react to things and why we do certain things. But that's for a different topic. I just want to say that, man, I'm glad that I could get you guys on here to talk a little bit about this. We can get in depth about this at another time, but I just wanted to talk about this real quick and mention that next year we're gonna have to do a Juneteenth cookout, man. We're gonna have to put that together. We got to do
We got one going on.
Yeah.
We got one going on. My family, we're not doing Sunday dinner. We're doing Saturday.
Nice.
Doing Saturday. Yeah, that's
celebration.
Cool. But this
you know what I mean?
But
we
what
know
I want
now.
to do next year, I want to invite a whole bunch of my friends, my friends and their family, and we just go somewhere and just throw some food on the grill, buy some stuff so that the kids can come out and enjoy themselves, and we just have a good time, yo. No stress, no fuss, just enjoy, because I've never really celebrated Independence Day, because ever since the 90s, Miss Green, ever since I met Miss Green, or Dr. Green, let me stop saying that before. Next time I talk to her, she'd be like, "Boy, I hear you on your little podcast," because that's what she said. Your little podcast disrespecting me, talking about Miss Green. I worked too hard for this. I'm a doctor. Yes, Dr. Green. So I love the whole concept of Black. And I like the fact that all of us learned about this a different period, and all of us did our research, so that it's so intriguing to everybody here that what we went through, that we're able to stand tall still now as a race and as a people. I mean, we haven't made it to the mountaintop like Mr. King said, but like Dr. King said, but I still feel like we're doing hella good. We're making
Progress.
progress, well, you can see that now in history we have some of the brightest, some of the most enticing people that's in our culture, that's pushing the culture for, forward, and we just got to appreciate that. So for a close out, man, T, throw something out there you want to say about Juneteenth before we roll.
Just want to say that it may not have been taught to you. You may not have learned about it until recently, or you may have known forever. But the time is now. Celebrate what's true to us. This is our holiday. This is when everyone, not just a few, but this is when everyone finally became free. And it's a great part of our history. Don't wallow in the negative of how long it took it to get here. Just be present in the moment. Now it's your responsibility to celebrate and educate those who don't know. Continue to pour it out in the community, get it out there.
Razor, throw something out there real quick about Juneteenth that you would like people to hear from you.
Hey, like I said, at the end of the day, Juneteenth is American history, and that's mainly what I want to put out there. This is America. This is American history. I love America, and I love the history that comes with it. So it's for everybody to celebrate, not just as Black people, but people, other races also, to know that, hey, this is something that happened that was horrible to us, and it needs to be celebrated and move forward with the progress, and making sure we live better with each other, and get along better, and so we could be one big happy family. So that's all I have to say.
All right, Michael. Hey, Sharp man, throw something out there you want the people to hear from you about Juneteenth, my brother.
I would say one thing would be all the parents with young kids growing up, they should teach this to them very early. Do their research as parents if they don't have all the information. Get it to the children, because these internet children these days, they have the internet, but yet they're not using it for what they could be using it for, which is to do some good research and learn their history, or doing other nonsense online. And so I think this is too important and too critical. And they should definitely, parents should teach their kids, and their kids definitely should use the internet a little more wisely, and make the best out of it, because information is there if you want it. They can't hide it anymore. It's available for anyone now. So that's what I would say.
Definitely. And I teach my son about Juneteenth. My son knows about Juneteenth for a few years now. And in fact, every time it comes around, I ask him what's Juneteenth, and he got to explain it to me. And every time he don't explain it to me properly, you got to go look it up. And if it takes him 50 times for him to give me a proper explanation of it, then that's what it takes him. And I know this year so far, he has been, I guess he realized the time was coming before, so he came and explained before I could ask him. But I'm still gonna test him again about
smart
Friday.
dude.
Yeah,
Smart dude.
I think he got me, but I'm gonna test him again Friday. I asked him a few
learn
things.
fast,
If he
man.
don't know, I ask him what the general name is. He don't know. He gotta go look it up before. But anyway, like we always say, man, don't for a minute, don't think that Black history is American history. Black history is world history. So don't think for a minute that because we're celebrating Black history that the rest of America shouldn't celebrate it too. The rest of the world shouldn't celebrate it too, because it's world history. It's not just Black American history. It's world history, Black world history. But hey, man, Juneteenth, I'm looking forward for it every year since I've known about it, and since it's becoming more prevalent to the world, I also look even further to seeing how huge of a holiday it can become, seeing how happy it can make not just us, but all of Americans to learn more about our history. And when I say our history, I'm talking about Black history. So it's your boy, Sean Peoples, man. It's the Anything Goes podcast, man. Listen, if you like our vibes, like our movement, like, subscribe, share, comment in the comment section, ring the notification bell so you can keep up with everything that we got going on. Jump in the community tab and vote. Juneteenth. It's going to be a good holiday, man. I see it now. Even though I'm not going to invite anybody over, I'm going to put some chicken on the grill. I'll send you guys some pictures, man. We out of here.